Concerns are high for children returning to school during the COVID-19 pandemic, but there is another virus currently impacting younger Oklahomans right now, RSV. Steve Shaw talks with Catherine Sweeney, reporter for our content partner, StateImpact Oklahoma, on how COVID and RSV are raising the stakes for kids.
How big of a problem is COVID-19 right now with school-age children? And does the government keep track of those numbers on a weekly basis?
They do keep track of those numbers. It is spreading among children, COVID-19. It does not seem to be quite as serious in young children as it does seniors and maybe older adults, but the Delta variant does seem to be affecting children more than the earlier strains of the virus.
How could this play out for pediatric hospitals and regular hospitals as we go on?
So our hospitals are seeing a very high demand outside of COVID. We have a lot of pent up kind of backlogged need for care from 2020. People delayed surgeries or they delayed treatment that wasn't emergent. And then also it's just summer is a busy time for a lot of pediatric hospitals. At OU Children's, for example, they see a lot of elective surgeries in the summer because parents want to get these done when their kids aren't in school. Or they see a lot of trauma because kids are out of school, they're playing, they're more likely to go get hurt.
How does the start of the school year affect those numbers, and what percentage of young people are getting vaccinated?
For vaccinations, children, school-age children are actually the least vaccinated group. Obviously, kids younger than 12 cannot get the shot yet, so there's nobody under 12 who's vaccinated. From 12 to 18, only about 1 in 5 children are vaccinated. So you take that into going into school, anybody younger than 6th grade can't get the shot.
Catherine, what is RSV?
It is just another respiratory virus. It can really affect children. So anybody can get it. But the thing is, all these symptoms kind of pile on to close up the airways. And when you're really little, like a baby, your airways are smaller. It takes a lot less of that inflammation for it to close up. So children end up in the hospital because of it, usually in the winter. They end up sometimes even on ventilators, like you would with COVID, but it's infants and really young children who end up getting very sick from it.
Catherine, upper respiratory infections are usually worse during the winter months. That's not the case with RSV right now, is it?
Usually it is only in the winter. They hardly ever see it in the summer. They definitely don't see it the way they're seeing it now. It is sending so many children to the hospital, and we don't have any definitive evidence as to why yet, of course. I mean, this is a very recent phenomenon, but the thinking is that a lot of babies or small children who were born either during the pandemic or right before it weren't out in the world building up their immunity. And when they were out, a lot of the time, everyone around them was masked. They weren't spreading these diseases. So we get to this summer, all of the mask mandates come to an end, the world opens back up, and these kids, their systems haven't been exposed to anything yet. And so this virus that would usually only really take hold in the winter months is just spreading like wildfire right now and filling up our pediatric hospitals.
Catherine, what preventative measures can be taken to ward off RSV?
Very similar to COVID, wash your hands, watch your distance, wear a mask is one of the biggest ones. Unfortunately, there's not an RSV vaccine. So you just have to try to be careful. And that's about it. It's really tough. It's tough because there's not a ton you can do to fight it.
Catherine Sweeney, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.